everyone, and welcome to Stitchy's World. My name is Caitlin, and I am a knitter and crocheter, and I'm here today to bring you episode 4, where I have finished a couple of amigurumis. I have made some really good progress on my Elton Pullover. What else? And I'm just kind of drudging along on one of my knitted animal friends. So I hope you're all having a really good week. It is Sunday today, game day. We're getting ready for the Giants game. I kind of turned myself around today. You have a different background to look at. I'm also learning how to better use my camera, and hopefully it'll start gelling real soon. But anyway, thank you for being here. I'm gonna stop talking about that stuff. And yeah, let's get into the crafting. This week I finished my Agatha Bee. So she is from the Pica Pau Animal Friends book 1 or 2. I'm sorry, I can't remember. It'll be on the screen though, so you know for sure. She is knit out, or I should say she is crocheted out of just yarn, which is what I've been buying from the Dollar Tree. It's made by Premier Yarns, and it's a worsted weight, and it works really well for these amigurumis. She was fairly easy. There's a couple of things that are a little funny about her. For one, her little scarf where you had to crochet into the back loop. I wasn't sure I really liked the way that looked. I mean, it looks good from back here, but up close, it looks just a little irregular. And I don't know if that's because I'm a yarn under crocheter when it comes to amigurumi. Would it be different if I did a yarn over on those rows? But like the line of that leg that's left shown is just a little squiggly for my likings. I kind of wish her fringe stood up a little bit, but that's the nature of, doing a chain and then crocheting down it. I think it kind of curls. Maybe I'm wrong. If you know of a tip to make that work out a little better. I love her expression. I think she's so cute. The only other thing I did a little bit differently than the pattern said was I sewed her little boots on, and I ran out of the pink yarn. It should have been the same color that you used for the wings, I think. But I just went with an orange, and I figured it all works. And she's ready for fall. She's got a little stinger on her back. She is a tattoo artist, actually. Her story, if I remember correctly, she gets seasick on long voyages, so she doesn't like to get too far from home, doesn't like to travel, but she's interning as a tattoo artist at her local tattoo shop, and you can see she has tattoos all over her body, and that was actually really fun to do. I think I did okay. It's not perfect, and I realized something that I would not recommend. I'm super cheap when it comes to stuffing because I figure you can't see it, so it doesn't matter what's in there. Well, I stuffed her with stuffing from a pillow that happened to be green, and I've never come across green stuffing before, but this was green, and I thought, oh, it's fine, like she's a dark enough color, but you can kind of see in especially in the jacquard part of the crochet where she's got some green. You can't tell it's green, but just I have a feeling if it were white it wouldn't look like my stitches are too loose, but they are a little bit too loose. So just like everything I make, nothing is perfect, but I love her and I think she's just so cute. This is Agatha Bee. My next project that I finished was a unicorn from the Mini Kingdom. Dun, da, da, dum. I call her Sparkles. She was so much fun to make. She came together really quickly. As you can see, she's quite a bit smaller even than Agatha Bee. So she is made out of a couple different yarns, not the just yarn, a little bit lighter weight, I would say. It's probably considered a light worsted or DK weight. But it's amigurumi yarn. Like I had gotten a set of all different colors at one point, like I ordered 30 different colors. So I was using that, and everything's from the same set except for the white. And I don't know if the camera would pick up on it, but the white has a little thread of sparkle in it, and I thought that would be really fun for a unicorn. I'm not sure you can really see that So maybe it was kind of not worth it. And the one issue I did have with this project is a little bit of gauge, because her body is made with a different weight of yarn, just ever so slightly. Like I didn't notice when I was, yeah, I noticed. I noticed right away, but I really was attached to the yarn and I wanted to make it work. So that's why her hair is a little bit longer than her body. Technically her body would probably be a little bit bigger if I had used more similar gauge, or similar weight of yarn. But she was really fun to make. The hair was kind of funny. These are tubes basically, so maybe a little bit more crocheting than if it was just flat, but at the same time it really gives it dimension, and I think that's neat. I love her little expression. I just did it just like it said to in the book, and the only thing I didn't put, she was supposed to have a little sailboat stitched on her breast here, but I didn't think it really looked especially like a sailboat in the picture, and I didn't know if I wanted her to be a sailor unicorn. I thought she was fine just the way she was. So I love her. She's so cute. She's probably going to be a gift for my niece next time I see her, which will probably be this weekend. But I wanted to make sure I got to show you guys first before I send her off into the world. So I've named her Sparkles, and hopefully she brings lots of joy to my niece when I give it to her. That project, by the way, was from the Mini Kingdom, and the creator of that project was Olka Novytska. And the reason I was motivated finally to crochet something from the Mini Kingdom, it was one of the books that I've been most excited about for a very long time, but hadn't really made anything. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos on the Amigurumi book tag challenge, and so many of the crocheters got to that book and they're like, nope, never made anything out of this one. And I wondered, like, why is no one making anything from the Mini Kingdom? I decided I should better give it a shot, and I did. Loved it. The pattern was very easy to read. I had no problems understanding it. The only thing I will say is there's more sewing together than a typical piece. I'm used to having to sew on like arms and legs, maybe ears, and that's about it. Sometimes a snout. But this, the way you had to patchwork her hair together, you actually crochet 6 different pieces, and you really have to pin everything into place, arrange it the way you want, then remove some of the pins so that you can get in to stitch around. I was really proud of myself that my stitches are hidden, and I think that's just coming with practice and seeing really good illustrations of how to do the different types. I think this was ladder stitch to attach the hair pieces. So if you don't like sewing, that probably wouldn't be your favorite book. Sometimes I see people showing off patterns that they made that are no-sew amigurumi, and I think that's fine, but I think you really get a lot of detail when you are willing to do a little bit of sewing. So anyway, I will definitely make something else from that book soon. There's about 20 of them that I want to make, so that shouldn't be hard. So that's it for my finished projects this week. I'm going to show you now what I have on the needles. So I've been working on my Elton Pullover. I've been making really good progress on it, actually. I don't know if you'll notice how much progress from a couple episodes ago when I first showed it, but keep in mind I had to tear all of that out and start again. So this is my second time through, and I vowed to never pull it out again because it's mohair and that's a pain. Well, it's alternating stripes of mohair. Oh! So this is where I'm at. I think that's the back of it. The reason I had to tear it out was I was not happy with the size. For some reason, I don't think I picked up on the fact that the shoulder doesn't like sit on the shoulder. It should be way down here or even lower. So the first time I made it, it was just a size that was way too small. I went up 2 sizes, and I actually went down 1 needle size, which doesn't make sense if you just hear me say that, but the reason I did that was it was just a little bit too open in my opinion. I wanted something, a fabric that's a little bit more closed. So this is how it's working up. Knitting for Olive Pure Silk, and the color is raspberry pink, and that's 100% silk, 100% bourette silk. So I don't know exactly how I'm gonna block this. I think you can't wet block silk, but I really wanna block it because my stitches just look wonky until they're blocked. So hopefully, I don't know if steam would be the answer or just like spritz it gently, but if somebody knows the answer, please do feel free to share, because I think I'm gonna need to block this. But I still got a long ways to go. I'm, the mohair part of it, I'm a little worried because I bought this like several months ago, and already I'm down to this much. I think it was like this big before. I don't want to have to buy another one, but I might have to. This is Cowgirl Blues Kid Silk, which is 70% mohair and 30% silk, hand wash only. So this is a very impractical top that I'm making. It is the Elton Pullover. I don't even know if I said that before. The Elton Pullover by Joji Locatelli. And I'm really enjoying the pattern. It's very easy to follow. And I like that you're knitting most of the body just in the round, so stockinette in the round. And you know, that's pretty boring, but it's just a long enough stripe. It's a 4-row stripe, so I feel good about changing the color, and it keeps my attention. Yeah, so I like it. I'm not sure about the color of the mohair. When I picked this out, I was like, the mohair looks so cool. And then as I started knitting with it, it's a lot darker than I thought it would be. Like, the colors aren't as vibrant. They're a little bit almost muddy, but I will see how it turns out. You know, I'm committed. So I've been working on this a lot. This is what I'm doing, like during my breaks at work, on my lunch, when I get home, listening to books, etc. I'm actually listening to, there's gonna be a segment at the end about my books, but this book, I'm not gonna like highly recommend it because it's, I don't know, maybe people would enjoy it, but it's called Strawberry Shortcake Murder by Joanna Fluke, and she always writes these like bakery, pastry related type murders. It's cute. It's dated. Like, there's some things in it that I'm, you know, slightly problematic, which is probably why I don't feel comfortable recommending it, but it's like a cozy feel, and I feel like this kind of knitting needs like a cozy mystery to go along with it. So that's what I've been doing with that. Oh, I wanted to ask you something. Hold on. So I've been using the Knitter's Pride Stainless Steel Mindful Collection tips and the swivel cord that goes along with them. These are not the sizes I'm using, but I put the project away. I'm having an awful time with them keep coming loose, and I wonder if anybody else has that problem. It comes with like a little pin. I mean, you probably know this if you've used interchangeable cords before. Actually, it's not on the tip, it's on the cord. You stick the pin into the hole on the cord and you hold it, and then you twist at the tip, and there's even like an illustration of how you're supposed to do it. Is it just the way I knit that it keeps coming loose? Because it's always on a mohair stripe that is coming loose, and that mohair is so fine, and it just gets itself stuck right between like the, you know, in the little groove that's created when it starts to separate. And so I can't just tighten it back up, and I gotta get the stitch out of there, and it's a problem. So I'm wondering if anybody else has this problem, if there's something I'm doing wrong. I don't know if I'm not like tightening them enough. Other than that, I love the needles. I love the cords, and I love these little end things. I'm actually using, or I was using those when you have to put the back on hold, do the front pieces, join the front. So I just kept one of the, I didn't have to transfer everything off to a separate scrap yarn. You just screw these on the ends of your cord and it holds the project. I love that, but I don't know, maybe I'm doing something wrong. Let me know, because it would be a lot easier if I didn't have to worry about tightening up my thing all the time. Now I'm like kind of paranoid about it. Every row or so I'm doing that. Now here's the project that is, this is the project that's a chore. I've been knitting the Animal Friends by Louise Crowther now for a couple of years, and I love them. The patterns are easy to read for the most part, except I'll tell you about an exception in a minute. Easy to understand, I will say that, and I just think they come out so cute. So I've been working on Charlotte the Fox, and Charlotte the Fox is supposed to be wearing a linen stitch coat. So I'm still working on the linen stitch coat, and that's what I want to show you today. So, linen stitch, I've come to realize, takes a lot of yarn because you're slipping every other stitch in both directions. So it's a nice thick coat. Charlotte will be very cozy once it's finished, but it's taking forever. This is my 4th time doing it. I did it once. I messed up so much I took it out. I did it a second time. It was coming out really good, but then I lost my notes of like what row I was on and I could not figure it out, so I took it all out. The 3rd time I did it, I was starting to get the hang of it, and then I realized it was so much work for what it was looking like, so I took it out. Then I decided, never mind, Charlotte, you're not getting a linen stitch coat, you're just getting a garter stitch coat. So I was doing it in garter stitch, and I just wasn't happy with it. And I was like, Caitlin, you can do it. You can do a linen stitch coat. So this is the 4th time. I'm not taking it out. I'm gonna keep moving forward. There's one problem, and this is what happens if you don't, if you get off by 1 stitch in linen stitch, you get scars across your knitting. So this is the sleeve, on the top of the sleeve. I'm hoping that the collar will cover that, but if it doesn't, that's just how it's gonna be. So it's a top down, and as you go, you do raglan increases for your sleeve, then you put your sleeves on hold, which I've done here with the scrap white yarn. Then you start working the back, but you split. It's like got a split in the back, so like 2 tails essentially. So I'm working on the back left panel, which it has, it's not just the back because it wraps around to the front. So the whole left side of the coat right now in linen stitch. Now, it's going pretty well. I don't know why my increases look kind of wonky. You might be wondering, why is that side of it showing? Because the other side looks way cooler. I'd agree. I feel like the wrong side of linen stitch looks really cool and textured, but for some reason, the knitted side, or the right side of the linen stitch, I'm just not as much of a fan of it. Yeah, this has been, like I said, this has been a chore. I don't exactly mind the linen stitch anymore. I've gotten to the point where it's like, I can read the knitting, so I know if the stitch looks like it's a little bit, I can tell which one's the slipped from the row before, so I don't make that mistake as often, though I still make it a lot, where I get off by 1 stitch and I'm like, whoa, 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 this is feeling a little too bumpy, a little too textured, and then I realize my mistake and I go back and fix it. Now here's the part that's really weird about the pattern. When I said it's easy to read and I took it back, I'm going to tell you why. This is what it looks like, my notes on the on the linen stitch coat. And the reason it's so strange is, okay, so I get to row 77. It says row 77 through 94. All right, great. Then it says repeat rows 59 through 76. So, okay, 59 through 76. So I go to 59 to see what I'm supposed to do. I get to that part of the pattern. It says for 59 and 50 through 66, repeat rows 37 and 38 4 times. So I do that. Then you do one row that's a little different, which is usually the increase row where you're adding a little bit of flare to the waist of the coat. Then you go to another section and it's like repeat those rows, those 2 rows 4 times. So to keep track of where you are in the knitting is just a bit of a challenge. I think I've finally found a way to really keep good track of it. So it's kind of funny because I see a lot of people talking about knit, you know, like different row counters and things like that. And there's apps for it. And there's bracelets and jewelry and things you click. And I think that's great. But I would never be able to do this pattern with just that as a tool. Like, I've learned, it's made me learn how to take better notes on my knitting so I know where I am and what repeat I'm in. It kind of reminds me of playing like a Sousa march where you repeat the first part twice, then you jump to the second ending, then you go back and do the whole thing again, and then you go back and this time you only do the second part of the repeat and then you jump to the coda. If that made sense to you, great. If not, it's fine. You don't really need to know. Anyway, I'll show you a gadget that I'm really loving. This is my little flashlight thingy. Ooh. So it's got 3 settings. You wear it around your neck, and it's just the perfect little help to see your stitches a little better. I knit a lot at night, later in the day, which is night. I knit a lot at night. And I'm not always in a well-lit place, so I like to use this. It was I don't actually know how much it cost, but I think I got it for a gift for Christmas because it was on my wish list. Anyway, a really cool little gadget. All right, so that's all for On the Needles this week. I know there were things in my last knitting podcast that didn't work out, that I was still looking to finish, but those are going to be, what do you call it? Hibernating or in timeout. Those things are in timeout. I'm trying to focus on the couple of projects I got going now. Now I'm going to tell you what I have on the hook. So if you saw my last episode where I went to the New Jersey Sheep and Fiber Festival, I found a booth owned by or run by a shop called the Golden Pearls. And they're a spin-off of the Golden Girls. Everything that they have in their shop is inspired by the show. And I love the Golden Girls. So I was talking about that last week. Well, I've actually had in my knitting book or crochet collection the Crochet Golden Girls kit. The kit comes with the supplies that you'll need to make the Sophia doll. So I am making a Sophia doll, and currently this is what she looks like. She doesn't look human yet, I'd say. She kind of looks a little alien. I think she has a really big head and her eyes look a little set far apart. But I think she's coming out really good. I'm enjoying the pattern. The pattern's by Allison Hoffman, who's also crafty as cool. And I've done some of her things before. It's very well written. There was only one thing that I was really confused about where there was like an X written in it. And I didn't understand what the X meant. And I couldn't find anywhere what it meant. So that was kind of a mystery to me and remains a mystery. But this doll is actually, all of the supplies are in the kit. This is a box. I'll hold it up so you can see. So it's the book on top and then a box with all that you're gonna need to make the Sophia doll. So those are the supplies. Yes, I've gone through some of them already. She's already got one arm that I haven't attached yet. This is her little cardigan that wraps around her. And then this is her little mini skirt. I guess it wouldn't be a mini skirt. So to give you an idea, she's coming together, like I said. She will look hopefully like Sophia Petrillo. I haven't put on her skirt yet, but that'll go on as well. So if you can kind of imagine. Anyway, this is the first crochet project that I've actually inserted wire. It comes with this very thin wire that is used to make her arms and legs bendable and her neck. So the way that it's described that you're supposed to insert the wire is you take a long piece of it and fold it kind of in half, and you feed it down her neck and then through her 2 legs. At the end of the legs, you're supposed to curl it into a loop and it goes into her shoes. Up at the top, it's supposed to be holding it. There's a little bit of it left in the neck where it's double wide, and then it kind of pokes into the bottom of the head, and then you sew the head on. So I think I had trouble getting the wire in because my gauge was, I'm just crocheting this a little bit tighter than the recommended pattern is. So anyway, I had trouble poking the wire through and ended up having to cut it into 2 pieces. I couldn't get it to go all the way through, so I think I went up from the legs. I do have a piece in the neck that's holding really well, but then I took 2 separate pieces and tried to jam them up the legs, and it's poking out and I can't get it back in. So I don't know if you'll be able to see that on the camera, but it is a little piece of wire here. There's a little piece coming through her foot. Yeah, just those two places that I can see. So I asked Jack to help me. He's gonna use his pliers because I just can't do it with my fingers. And anyway, so that's the Sophia doll. I feel like whoever designed this kit was either brilliant or not brilliant. So I kind of wish that this box wasn't part of it, but this box is part of this hardcover book. Like, it's built into it, so it's always going to take this much room on my shelf when I'm going to be done with these materials and not need for it to take up that much room on my shelf. But on the other hand, it has been really handy to know that I have everything my whole project is contained in here when I'm working on it. So I guess it depends on your perspective. The quality, I will just say, like, I'm not sure about all kits, but in this kit in particular, the quality of some of the stuff is not quite what I would have hoped. The peach yarn, oh, I'm making one of her hands here. The peach yarn is so stiff, it almost feels like rag yarn. It's like you can almost hear it squeaking. So that is not fun to work with. Though for what I'm making, it doesn't seem to matter. The other yarn is a little bit more like typical craft yarn. The only thing is the light blue, and maybe this was intentional, I don't know, but the light blue is definitely a little bit different weight or something different than the other colors. So it's not like perfect. Like, you could certainly choose your own yarns to make any of these. But yeah, so it has everything you need to make a Sophia doll. So that's what I'm doing first. The crochet hook, it actually comes with a crochet hook. And one night I thought to myself, oh, my crochet hook is in another pattern, another project bag right now. I'm going to use the one provided in the box. And it's just aluminum. I forget what the size is. It's really not probably important. But anyway, I was having so much trouble. I was making the skirt, and it's a half double crochet around skirt. I was having so much trouble, and I was like, is it the half double crochet stitch? Why am I having so much trouble? Finally, I realized I switched back to my own hook that I'm used to using, and it made a world of difference. The last project that I'm working on is also from the Animal Friends of Pica Pau. It's Robin the Unicorn. It's actually from book 1. I thought she was from book 2, but she's from book 1. This is what she's going to look like. Robin the Unicorn. I'm changing up her colors because it's going to be for my niece, and my niece really likes pink and purple. I have just enough left over of this kind of like magenta with this purple. Whoops, there's some yellow. So she's going to be quite a bit larger than Sparkle the Unicorn. These little pins are me trying to decide where to put the eyes. I haven't quite decided yet. But for size comparison, she could fit inside of Robin's head. So maybe it'll be like a mommy and a baby for her. I don't know. this was funny. So I started this a couple nights ago because I love starting projects. But I started it and I was thinking, this isn't looking right. This isn't looking right. Little did I know you started this now. Most everything else that I've been making in the book, I'm pretty sure, starts at the top of the head. So I was like, this is so weird, thinking that it was going this way. And now that I'm, to the point of putting the eyes in, I do realize that that's the snout. So it does still look a little funny, but you'll see when it's stuffed. I think it'll be the right shape. So I'm excited about this project. These tend to go really fast for me because I don't know why. They're fun patterns. I really love the Pica Pau. All right, so I wanted to tell you a little bit about what I'm reading. I read a lot of books over the summer. It was a crazy summer with work because I'm a children's librarian and we had our summer reading program. So I was working a lot of weekends and I was exhausted when I got home at night. So I didn't do as much knitting and crocheting, but I did escape into books. So the one book I want to tell you about is called The Thing About Jellyfish, and it's by Allie Benjamin. It's a middle grade fiction. It's 352 pages if I remember. Basically, Susie is, I forget exactly how old she is. I want to say around the range of like 12 or 13 years old. And she loses her best friend in a drowning accident. So she has a lot of questions about how this could have happened, and it really affects her deeply. And so deeply, in fact, that she stops talking to everyone in her life. So as she's trying to piece together what could have possibly happened, she learns about a very, very small jellyfish, like this small, called the Irukandji jellyfish, and it's super, super poisonous to humans. Like, it can be fatal to humans if it stings them. So she does her science project, and she's going so deep into research and finding different experts in the field because she's just searching for answers. The book is really, really sweet. I would highly recommend it for adults as well as children. I would say you need to be prepared for dealing with some of the topics of grief that she does deal with, but it's a beautiful story. I read on the Goodreads page that it's supposed to be a movie that Reese Witherspoon's gonna be involved in, so I'm excited for that, but I don't know if that's actually happening because the book was written 8 years ago already. The other book I'm reading, I just started it. It's called None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell, and I think it's about a podcaster. I really just started it, so I don't even really know what it's about, but I love thrillers, and I've read a couple of books by her. I can't remember what they were right now, but something about, I was gonna say that something about fall makes me want to read a thriller, but I could say the same thing at any time of the year. I just really like reading thrillers, so I'm reading this now. I'll see if I like it. If you have any recommendations of books you're reading and enjoying, I'd love to hear that too. But I finally went on and I ordered some books to come from Amazon. They are crochet books I'm very excited about. I'm not going to tell you anything about them because they're going to be featured in a future episode. But I will tell you about one book that I pre-ordered a long time ago that I cannot wait for it to come out. It's actually a knitting toy book based on Peter Rabbit, based on the world of Beatrix Potter, and it's 12 different knitting patterns. I love making amigurumi. I love the act of making them, and I think they're so cute when they're done, but there's something I really, really love about knitted friends. They're so huggable and squishy and cute and adorable, and you can move them every which way, where I feel like amigurumi, yeah, they move, but like, this isn't as huggable as some, like, oh yeah, it's not quite the same. So anyway, I can't wait for that book to come in. That's supposed to be released October 24th if you're interested. Thanks for sticking around. I keep forgetting to say this in my podcast, but if you do enjoy these podcasts, feel free to hit the like button or subscribe to them because that's how YouTube works, and I appreciate it. I feel like I've rambled on long enough. I think I need to take a nap. It's Sunday afternoon, so I hope you're enjoying your day, and thank you for joining me today, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!